I'm gonna record this video real quick. Hopefully the audio is okay. Hopefully I can express myself properly. I don't know. So I wouldn't necessarily identify as like sad in this moment, but I am been feeling a little bit emotional. Specifically in regards to that person that I've been talking about. By the time this gets posted, it'll be January. So like the storyline of this, I don't know. There's no clear, because like the way that it doesn't really matter. I'm mostly just posting this for myself and different reasons within that, but and like I don't know, nothing major happened, and I guess this is just a moment of me recognizing like the pattern of it, you know, because I heard recently like when something's a pattern, you'll start to feel like you'll notice a pattern of your feelings, you know what I mean? Like they might not necessarily do or say something major or crazy, but you'll notice that like something happens and then there's like a feeling, there's like a disappointment, there's a, you know what I mean? Please don't hit me. You can hit me. Can I just, okay, just keep going, I guess. Anyways, I almost got ran over, but not really. I guess they weren't gonna hit me, but they kept going. I was expecting them to stop, but anyways, what was I saying? But yeah, like I mentioned weaponized incompetence, and he responded to that with a question mark, and it was like a subtle moment of like, okay, so like you know what I'm talking about and you don't like that I know, you know what I mean? It's like that weird manipulation shit that people do, you know? Because I don't know, this person already knows very much so that I do not appreciate lying. I do not like dishonesty, and they've witnessed me like get upset at what I thought was a lie, and I do still stand by that, but like he was very adamant that he was not lying, and I was just like, okay, but why the fuck are you lying to me? Because I know you're fucking lying to me. Like, you can say it as nicely as you want, but I know that that you're not fucking being honest, you know? And I will allow like 2 inches, 2 seconds of reflection to say, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was misinterpreting. But I don't think that I was. And I feel like, once again, this was one of those moments, of subtle moments of like, you know, because like I feel like there's a different part of me, I don't want to say a past version, but there's a different part of me that would have blown up at this, who would have been like, so you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't know what weaponized incompetence is, you're going to literally use the term as we're talking about it. That's amazing. That's crazy. It's like when people say I'm not being defensive by saying I'm not being defensive. Also, is this Halloween candy? It is. There's a sticker, or not stickers, Three Musketeer. But it's like when people say I'm not being defensive, which is literally a defense. It's like, what do you mean I'm not being defensive? You are being defensive. Like, what? Because somebody who's not being defensive would take a moment to be like, am I being defensive? And then say that, maybe. But like to immediately just like, I'm not being defensive, I'm not deflecting. Okay, gaslighter. Okay, manipulator. I got you. You're an avoidant. You don't like telling yourself the truth. You don't like it. It hurts. I don't know. But like, I don't like that. And like, I don't know, if you've been following along with this, like it probably seems very chaotic, because like there's moments where we break up, where we're not talking and whatnot. And I've never really had that sort of situation. I'm not saying that I enjoy it, but I've never really had that sort of situation. It's just like, in the past, like whenever I'm done with somebody, I'm done. I'm not going back and forth. We're not doing the whole, you know, and I guess there was one recent ex that I kind of did that with, but I think we're done now. I think the next time that I hear from him will be maybe on his deathbed. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, with this guy, like it's just been a back and forth thing of like, I'm done with this, but also here we are. And maybe it's financial manipulation. Maybe that's what's going on. You know, if I really were to be honest with myself, like maybe that's what's happening, you know, because I do be getting money. I do. And like, even when he allegedly doesn't have it, like, you know what I mean? And it's like this whole thing of like dependency, and I don't like that. I'm a naturally very independent person. So I don't like this. And I don't know, I guess I could be proud of myself for like 2 seconds and be like, the fact that I didn't lash out, the fact that I didn't get upset towards him, I guess that's something good. I'm not sure. Also, I don't know if I'm gonna eat this. I haven't eaten anything today yet. Actually, no, that's not true. I did have a tiny bit of a hash brown. I stopped committing, I guess, to that thing that I was doing where I would like fast until like the second half of the day. Like I still try to adhere to that sometimes, but like, I don't know. I think because my sleep schedule was so chaotic, or was chaotic, it doesn't really make sense to stick to like an eating schedule too, because it's like if I'm up at 2 a.m. and I haven't eaten, you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, I need sustenance, I need energy. So I think that's kind of partially what that is, but okay, I'm gonna transition into talking about something else because I'm thinking about something else, and I kind of felt like I had to pause because I was passing by some people, but I noticed something. I was playing guitar this morning, and I noticed what I perceived to be my brother's jealousy towards me. And thankfully it didn't manifest in an aggressive way like it has been in the past, but like I noticed it and I talked about it a little bit. I don't know exactly when I post this, but like if you're I already recorded a video, because I was practicing guitar, and then after that moment I just kind of talked about it, and I think one thing, I'm sorry, I made that all jumbled. I knew how I wanted to start it, and then I just didn't do it that way. One thing about me is like when I'm upset, when I'm sad, I don't want to be around other people. I don't want to exchange energy with people. I don't want to talk to people, you know what I mean? And I think sometimes it is necessary to step outside of that, but generally that's who I am. I don't, if I'm upset about something, if I'm, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'd rather be alone, honestly, and let myself like process and all that jazz. But not everybody's like that, and that's, that's okay, obviously, but that's how I am. And so knowing that about myself, I'm like, if I was feeling jealous of somebody, if I was feeling like some sort of way about somebody, I would take time to process that on my own. I'm not about to like try to confront you about it, because it's like, that has nothing to do with me. Like, just be like, that's, and I think the one way that I frame it is that jealousy is like inspiration. Like if you feel jealous of someone, it's because it's misunderstood inspiration, and the correct way, quote unquote, the correct way to handle that would be to take action, to be like the thing that you're feeling inspired by or jealous of or whatever, but a lot of people don't think about that in that context or in that way. So it just turns into violence, it turns into animosity and unspoken conversations, and it's, once again, I'm saying all this with a non-judgmental lens. Like, it is quite frustrating, it is quite annoying to experience, but I'm trying to come from a like non-judgmental lens, because it is immaturity, and like we all have our lessons to learn, we all have our journeys, you know what I mean? We all have our individual things that we need to learn, etc., etc. And so like, and that for everybody it takes a different amount of time. It's not like people are just like instantly, like, you know what I mean? Even if you even if you set out that intention, you still have to go along the journey and like make mistakes and like, you know what I mean? But one thing about it, and I said this in the other video, you have to be very firm about your boundaries and about your energy, when it comes to like experiencing these sorts of people, because like in certain cases, some of these people, they will do so much unnecessary stuff to like knock you off your balance. And it's like, it just comes from a place of insecurity. That's what you have to realize. It's not a personal attack. Like, it's just because they feel some sort of way about themselves. And it's unfortunate. But like, yeah, you don't take that personal. You don't internalize that and be like, oh, well, they don't like me. They feel some type of way about me. And that's my fault. I have to do something. I have to make myself small. And that's, you can't do that as if you really feel like you need to. If it like really, you know what I mean, feels life-threatening. The mind is a powerful thing. The body's a powerful thing, and the mind will do crazy things to try to protect itself, which can be good and bad. A lot of people would agree that addiction, for the most part, is a defense mechanism sort of thing. Like, it's to protect oneself from the dangers or the perceived dangers of the world, So, and me personally, I don't like to. I've never really enjoyed identifying as a feminine person, but I do recognize that I have those traits. I have those qualities, so it would be kind of, you know what I mean. But as that sort of person, I do kind of find myself. But hold on. And I guess in that moment, I just did that too. That's funny. I'm noticing that. But I was saying, in certain situations, I do find myself shrinking, like making myself very small and unnoticeable. And that's something I don't want to say I'm trying to unlearn that, because I'm not currently. I already just know that that's not okay. But, you know, I'm only keeping that as a habit because, you know, self-defense, like practicality, you know, in certain situations, it does make the most sense to just be like, you know, but that's also because I'm not a fighter, and I don't want to have to get into a fight with anybody, you know, because also I feel like there's a part of me that's like, I would kill somebody, like I would, like if I ever have to fight anybody, like I know how to do that, but I just don't want to, because I can get crazy. And so I really, like, I stay far away from that. Like, a lot of people say that and they don't really mean it. I mean that. Like, I try my best to avoid certain conflicts and things, because I'm like, if it gets to that point, I will fucking murder you. I won't, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I know that I can do so much damage, but that aside. And back to the insecurity thing, I think it's so sad that there are people in the world, and sometimes it'd be your own fucking family, it'd be your own fucking friends, who like want you so badly to shrink yourself and to make yourself small. And the bottom line is, like, when you realize that there are people around you that want you to be small, you do have to kind of distance yourself. Like, that is the honest truth of it. Like, you cannot continue to be around people who want you to be small and think that you're going to like grow. Like, you would have to physically just get over that sensation of like, I need to be small. You would have to get over that and learn how to deal with like being big around these people, because like they would be uncomfortable, you know, at first at least, you know. And everybody's situation is different, everybody's story is different, so I don't mean to say all this and be like, you know, one size fits all, because that's not how it works. But for the most part, you do kind of have to be mindful of who you keep around you intimately, you know. As I'm talking, once again, this will get posted in January most likely, but as I'm talking, I've been staying at the homeless shelter, the nearby homeless shelter. And also, if I could for 5 seconds get into the fucking society that we live in, most homeless shelters are actually really trash. Like, because a lot of people like to be like, oh, just go to the homeless shelter, just like, and this is within the last few years, it's gotten worse, quite honestly, because this particular homeless shelter, it used to be like a month, like 30 days that they would give you, but now it's like literally 2 weeks. 2 weeks! Are you fucking serious? And if you have a job, I think that they extend it for like a week. But are you fucking serious? And then this particular shelter, once again, also does a thing where like once you leave, you're gone for like 2 months. You can't come back. You can't check back in for 60 days or whatever. Isn't that crazy? And then a lot of people, that's just their go-to response. Just go to the homeless shelter. It's like, bitch, have you ever been homeless? Do you understand how this works? You should at least Google it. If you don't understand, you should at least try to learn. You know what I mean? That's also another thing. People don't want to fucking learn. People just assume things about the world. And like, if we didn't have so many systems and structures, that would be okay. But like, we do have systems and structures. So it's just like, if you don't know something, fucking learn it. Fucking try to understand it. You know? But yeah, I went on a tangent because once again, this shit gets me heated. Like these things within society, like it's crazy, and like it just happens, and people just let it happen, and it's just like, what? We the people, remember that? Okay. Anyways, but you know, I've been staying at the shelter, and I think that's been helpful to my overall well-being. I think being away from my family, like during the night, like during sleep, has been really helpful, and I've been wanting to do that. Like I even considered being homeless, but quite honestly, this landscape is not my favorite for being homeless. Like I've been homeless before in different cities, and I think it really depends on where you're at and like how well you're willing to, or how much you're willing to adapt to the landscape. You know, when I was in Indiana, when I was in Fort Wayne, it was a pretty decent landscape. Like I really learned to enjoy that specific city, you know, like there's a lot of museums and shit like that. And, you know, it's cool here too, but this is also, you know, like obviously they usually put homeless shelters in like, interestingly enough, financial districts. Like that homeless shelter, it was like a more upscale part of the state, but at the same time, it was also like the slums, low key. Like it was like in between. It was like weird because there were banks over there, and like the homeless shelter over here also has banks, which is really weird. I don't understand that, but there's always like a bank nearby or something. Like there's always like structures and stuff, and it's, I don't know what if that's like an intentional architectural thing or like how that happens, but like, you know, and if you've been homeless, you understand what I'm talking about. Like, but like I don't know, what was I even talking about? Because now I'm just like really heated and I'm so all over the place. But you know, the world's fucked up. That's what I was that's where I was going at with that. Oh, another penny. I've been finding a lot of pennies. I don't necessarily consider them adding up 100%, but they do add up to some degree. Anyways, but yeah, I'm gonna end this soon. I'm gonna just say, hope you know Jesus loves you, God loves you. Whatever you're going through, it's temporary, and miracles happen all the freaking time. Keep your head up, keep your spirits high. It'll be okay. Bye.